Hello, friend.
Hello. Wait, are you saying that to me or the audience?
To you, the friend
cool.
of mine.
Cool. I'm the friend, guys, not you lot. Not you lot down there in the comments, the unwashed masses down there.
What's going on with your face?
Okay, so I was PvPing, and naturally, I needed to find an outfit that would, make me look big and intimidating. So I found the outfit with the biggest head. As we all know, a big-headed Char is the only Char to fear.
Yeah.
And a nice skinny waist. Now, what the skinny waist does is it accentuates the
spine
size of the head.
Okay. All right. So we are on Guardian. We are on Guardian today. And Guardian. Oh boy, Firebrand. Let me tell you about Firebrand.
Okay, so we are running a Firebrand build.
We are running Firebrand, so unlock it if you haven't yet.
I don't have it unlocked, but it's okay because I actually understand Firebrand a bit better because I played it for all of a few hours yesterday, so it's all good.
Okay, so you know how good it is.
I know one variant of how good it is. I have no experience of applying burns or applying quickness with it.
Okay.
I have no experience. Oh, and I have no experience with the axe either. But the other stuff, generally, I'm all right.
Okay. Well, Firebrand. I guess when it first came out, everybody was like, "Oh, Well, I think you in particular were not so keen on it, right? You were like, "I don't know about this Firebrand. Doesn't seem very interesting." But
was I? I don't even remember. I'll go with that. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just calling you out right now. But in reality,
I don't remember really.
In reality, I have had a hell of a lot of fun on Firebrand this entire time, and the reason why I've taken so long to make a build about it is because every build I seemed to make with it was just a really good build, and I couldn't make a weird, interesting, bad build out of it because it was just solid all around.
Oh, okay. Wow. This is not tooting your own trumpet here at all.
Well, no, it's just, I guess I was just doing the normal stuff, I was just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So obviously, Firebrand, you could do a Condi, amazing Condi build. I used to run a Virtues Firebrand build. That was a lot of fun. It was just a big buff to my old Virtues Condi build for Guardian. Also, another thing that's going around right now, which is super overpowered, is pure bunker. Like, you could either in Wars of the World do Minstrel Guardian, or you could do like a Magi Guardian in PvP, and they're both really, really strong.
Okay.
But what I decided to do with this was, because everything is so strong, I wanted to instead go with a certain aspect that I really enjoy about the Guardian, about the Firebrand.
Okay.
And just run with it. And that thing is how strong the mantras are. And one mantra in particular I want to talk about is the heal mantra.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're talking about Mantra of Solace.
Mantra of Solace, yes.
I really like this skill. I really do. The Aegis spam on it, ridiculous.
The Aegis spam on it is ridiculous. What's really ridiculous is that it is a uninterruptible, essentially, heal skill. Because once you've tossed up the thing, once you've done the Mantra of Solace charge...
Which you can do in safety before anyone's aggressed you.
Yeah. When you cast it, it's just an instant activation, basically. And I do not think it can be interrupted. I have not seen it being interrupted to me yet.
I don't think I've ever had it interrupted either. And you can use it while stunned as well. So.
Yeah, so it's instant activation, use it while stunned. I think there might be one other heal skill in the game that's instant activation like this. And not only that, but this is instant activation on a 12-second internal cooldown.
What are you thinking of? Because I'm thinking Herald, but not the actual heal, just to channel the Facet Herald is...
Yeah, channel the Facet Herald is one of them.
And then NG Medkit, I guess. Equipping the kit is instant activation.
Yes, exactly.
So
there's very, very few, if any. I think maybe the Mesmer Mantra, or maybe not. I can't remember now.
Surely, yeah. If it's...
Yeah,
well.
Maybe. Anyway, I think what I'm going to be talking about today is probably going to get this heal skill nerfed. Because right now, support Firebrand is very, very strong, and this just actually kind of plays into it as one of the elements. So, because this heal skill to me is so strong, I've decided to go all in on heal abilities.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and because also the 12-second cooldown, and with a trait that I'll bring up right now. Let's go to the traits.
Okay.
In the traits, you've got Firebrand traits. weighty terms, the master trait, the first one.
Weighty terms. Master. Oh, okay. We're right in the middle. Yeah, I see it.
So the
final charge of your mantras inflict immob.
So that's
yeah.
Nice
This always felt weird as a trait to me. It really did. But you get reduced recharge on mantras.
You get reduced recharge on your mantras. So that brings down the recharge to 9.5 seconds on the charge recovery. So you'll be happy to know that most, if not all, on heal activations in the game, whether it be on runes, whether it be on sigils, whether it be on traits, is all at 10 seconds.
All of it's at 10 seconds? Wow.
Pretty much all of it is at 10 seconds.
TIL. Okay.
So, some of them are at 20, but most of them are at 10. And this is fantastic because bringing it down to 9.5 basically puts it in line with that.
Right, so just every time you pop, you get a new charge if you insta-popped it. I mean, it's weird though, Boots, because it's a heal skill, so it's sort of reactionary. I guess we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah. So, I guess actually, you know what? I want to do gear first.
Okay.
So
can I guess at your runes based on what you've said so far?
You can guess at my runes, yeah.
Water runes.
Incorrect. Those are a strong choice, though.
And I'm thinking because they have the 10-second ICD on an extra heal when you use a heal, right? So I thought you were gonna double down on that.
That's right.
All right. So if you've not gone with that, maybe you're going like a Condi cleanse on heal skill instead.
There is also a Condi cleanse option. Okay, so this is it. So there are 3 or 4 very interesting choices for runes for this. Number 1, as you said, is Rune of Water. And those give you a heal on a 10-second internal cooldown on your heal skill. And I think it's around 1,200 approximately to 1,500. So it is very strong. And it is a very good option, especially if you are a pure tank, pure healing support.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's water runes I was running in season 9 on this.
Exactly. Another good option, if you're running a Condi version, is runes of Balthazar, because Balthazar runes on heal give a burst of fire around you.
In fact, all the god runes. Oh no, not all of them. That's something that I wanted to standardize. Right. Yeah. So anyway, they do, that does a splash of burning around you, right? When you use a heal. Okay.
Exactly. Also, like you said, there is the Condi removal one that removes 1 Condi from you.
What's that, monk?
10-second cooldown.
No, monk
Not
is
monk.
benevolence.
It's like it's a new one. It just came out in Path of Fire. I forget what it's called.
Did it?
Yeah. And then also there's the Revenant, which gives you 2 seconds of resistance.
One I use on my Auramancer is Radiance runes, which gives a light aura on heal skill.
Yeah, that was also a very good option. I used that for a little bit on this build. But I finally ended up using Runes of Altruism.
Ah, altruism. So this is Fury, Swiftness, and Might, isn't it? Or is it just Fury and Might?
Just Fury and Might, and a little bit of boon duration and healing. So with it, you'll have about 80% uptime of Fury due to the when you use your heal skill, you get 3 stacks of Might for everybody around you, and your allies. 8 seconds, cooldown 10 seconds, and you get 5 seconds of Fury for everybody around you. So you're basically...
Sorry, suddenly I find myself asking suddenly, what is this for? What is this general PvE? And I mean, it sounds team-based.
Well, I have used this in PvP, and it works very well. I think that might just be a part of the fact because Firebrand is very strong right now. So it helps. Oh, okay, I'm just going to say right now, this is a glass cannon power Firebrand.
Okay. Wow, that sounds totally the reverse of what you set it up as earlier. I thought this was all about heals and stuff.
It is.
Okay.
It is called. I'm going to call it the.
It's a glass healer.
It's a reinforced glass Firebrand.
Oh, do you know what? I think glass healers and stuff are actually sincerely underrepresented in Guild Wars 2, and I actually think that's a really strong thing for this kind of game.
Yeah.
All right.
So in order to get this glassiness / healiness, and the fact that there's so many boons going around because of the Firebrand, you are using a new stat set that just came into the game in Path of Fire that I like very much, called Harriers.
Does Harriers exist in PvP?
Harriers does exist in PvP.
There's a Harriers amulet, is there? Okay,
there
cool.
is.
So this is what all the druids have been running as well since Grace changed, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not that familiar with it, but I'm guessing it's boon duration, heal power,
and power,
And stat number 4?
That's just
that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Full power, and then healing and concentration.
Nice, okay. I see the appeal.
Exactly, very strong. In just general PvE in World vs. World, I'm running around with my armor as Harrier, several of my trinkets as Harrier, and then filling it out with some Valkyrie stuff for extra ferocity.
So this is good. This now makes
vitality.
sense why. This makes sense now when we look back at the altruism runes. That fury, you really want that fury because you don't have precision on your gear, but you're relying on power damage. So,
yeah. So also important though, if you're running full Harrier, you only have like 11,000 health. So I have mixed in some Valkyrie because I really need that vitality just to make sure I'm not like one shot by things.
Right. Okay.
So there you go. That's the gear. Basically, you have runes of altruism with Harrier stuff with a mix of
sigils.
Sigils. I've been using. Actually, I have been using accuracy, but I don't think I need it. Although it is still pretty good. Accuracy and battle. You could find many other sigils that work much better for this build, but this is what I was using because it was so cheap. I was only at 3 gold at the time, and I couldn't afford anything better. Feel free to mix and match with your sigils. It doesn't really matter. So
with Fury, the accuracy sigil, and the aggregate of whatever traits you've got, how's your crit chance looking?
Well,
when you have Fury on you?
On paper, right now on the thing it says 11% with the accuracy sigil because you have 0 precision.
Oof. Oof. Okay.
But let's look over the traits because that's going to change.
Oh.
Well, first of all, with your altruism runes, you're getting an 80% uptime of Fury, so that's another 20% right there.
Yep.
But let's look at the runes. I mean the traits.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to start? Do you want to round out Firebrand, or do you want to go to the other core stuff?
Let's round out Firebrand. Let's round out Firebrand. So with Firebrand, you get your tomes. Tomes are pretty good. The 2 second tomes, the Resolve and Courage, in this build are basically 2 panic button resets. They're just tons and tons of boons and healing to all people around you, including yourself. You're almost indestructible when you're using them. And Tome of Justice, even though it is a burn thing, it has 2 skills on it that do a lot of damage power based. So it's not unusable. It's something that you could swap to, do a lot of damage, and then it'll come back up when you kill something. Anyway, so first trait, the adept trait is Liberator's Vow, the second one.
Okay, so grant allies quickness when we use our heal skill. This is on an 8-second ICD, which is low enough even with weighty terms, which you talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you pop that mantra, as long as it's after a new charge just came in, you're spamming some quickness out.
Yeah, you and your friends get quickness. And then when you use a virtue also, you get quickness, but not your friends. Also, I didn't know, this is off topic, but did you know that you only need like 40% boon duration to give you and 5 people around you quickness?
Permanently, you mean?
Permanent quickness?
Yeah, I did know that about Firebrand. Yeah, it doesn't need much. In fact, I remember when it was first revealed. I don't know how because it's had a lot of changes since I was first looking at it, like mantra radius and stuff. But I think when it first came out, people were speculating like even lower than that to have perma quickness under certain setups.
With alacrity, yeah, for sure. Without alacrity, it's only 40%. With alacrity, it's even less. Anyway, so then you got the thing that reduces the cooldown to 9.5 seconds from 12 for your mantras. You could use Stalwart Speed, but I prefer weighty terms because everything's based around using your heal skill off cooldown as much as possible. And then Imbued Haste is always nice. It gives you healing power, toughness, and condition damage. The minor trait, Grandmaster Minor, whenever you have quickness. And you have quickness quite often in this because you have a very high boon duration.
Yep.
And then finally, I've flipped back and forth. Since this is a power build, obviously Quickfire isn't very useful to you. Stoic Demeanor's not so bad for PvP. You get to slow things when you stun them or disable them.
And it's got a nice synergy with weighty terms there.
It does, it does. You're not often using your full charges of your mantras, but whenever you do, you'll get that nice synergy.
I have to say, I think this is the worst Path of Fire trait in terms of flavor and idea and whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
and especially
as a Grandmaster, it's It's not great.
So we agree on that? I was going to ask you to sell it to me and tell me why it's good.
No, I'd agree on that. It's just something you could use. But I have instead been using Lore Master more often than not. Because, you know, it's nice to have that burn passive hit every once in a while. Even though you won't get much damage from it, it synergizes with some other things to do more damage for you.
Well, you described earlier the F2 and F3 as making you indestructible, which I kind of question on what you also described as a glass build. But if that's true, then 30% reduced recharge from Lore Master
is also
pretty
really
damn
strong.
nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I would use Lore Master over all these other ones. But then we get to the next trait line, which is the Master Stroke.
Okay. All right. So which one are we going, Boots?
We are going Honor.
Honor. Okay. So miners get Vigor when you crit. Not too useful. Dodging, Selfless, Daring. This is such a powerful heal.
Yeah, Selfless Daring on this build with your thing, you're going to be getting around 1,000, a little over 1,000 healing to everybody around you on a dodge.
And Purity of Body, you can regenerate your endurance a bit quicker, which helps you do Selfless Daring a little bit
same thing
more,
with the Vigorous Precision. You're going to be doing critical hits, so you'll have Vigor. And probably the most important trait in this line, though, is the Master, Pure of Heart.
Okay, so Aegis heals when it blocks an attack.
That is correct.
Can I prompt you into talking about F3 now?
Sure. Well, first of all, before we do that, the reason why this is good for buffing the heal skill is because your heal skill gives you Aegis on every pulse whenever you use it. So every 10 seconds, you get an additional 1,000-something healing from your healer, from your 10-second heal.
Because the heal puts Aegis out, and this trait makes when that Aegis breaks, it splashes a heal.
And that's not just for you, that's for all your friends.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah.
In fact, again, this is such a defining thing. I really think Pure of Heart deserves, with these synergies, it deserves, on Firebrand synergies anyway, I think it feels like a Grandmaster, honestly.
It's very strong.
That happens too often in Guild Wars these days, but that's so strong. Yeah.
So
what is that list as a heal? Sorry, you said how much?
For me, it's around 1,050.
Okay.
It goes a little higher when you have quickness, etc.
Yeah, and you get benevolence and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like your F2, you can drop tons of benevolence down on an area and stuff. So
yeah. And so you were gonna say about F3. F3, when you activate it, well, first of all, it periodically puts Aegis on you, so that's not so bad. Also, you get an Aegis on the 5th attack, but also you get an Aegis on the auto attack. So
splash it on me, baby.
So
I'm ready.
There you go.
Yeah.
Aegis on the auto attack.
Woo.
So something's attacking you, you just auto attack and heal every time they attack you instead of, you know, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. Also, interestingly about it, it also gives you swiftness on the auto attack, so you don't have to build swiftness into your build, like in World vs. World or whatever. You could just use your F3 and charge it up to full and get 50 seconds of swiftness to run around with.
Yeah, you get a bit of swiftness on the F2 as well, don't you? One of them gives like swiftness, regen, and vigor or something. Like
that. Yeah, on the F2, 2 of them give swiftness.
Yeah. So you got loads of that as well.
Loads
you
of
don't need a staff. You don't need retreat. Those days are long gone.
Long gone.
And obviously, in a lot of other places, you got mounts now. So.
Yeah, exactly. So then the minor adept, or sorry, the adept major, is I'm taking Protector's Impact.
Okay, cast lesser symbol of protection when you take falling damage, or, and this is the big change recently, which is why I love this and that you're using this, or when you use a heal skill.
That's right. Lesser symbol of protection gives you a symbol. It gives you protection because since you have 50% boon duration, it gives you quite a bit of protection. And then with the Grandmaster trait, you have a choice between a few things, but the one I'm using currently is Rid of Persistence. Symbols last longer and give you healing. So this symbol that you put down lasts an extra couple of seconds, and it heals you every time it pulses. So the protection lasts longer, and it heals you for 170 approximately every time it pulses, which is nice because this build also does a lot of damage with symbols, and they all individually pulse while you're doing things. So you could be healing up for like 600 at a time at all times.
Okay, that's really cool. And you already said Pure Heart, so that's really nice. Yeah. So what's your third line then?
Just before I say that, though, you can use Force of Will if you feel you're too squishy. It gives you 300 Vitality, which is nice, and also outgoing healing to a lot of things. Not bad at all. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, so my last line, which makes this build into the ability to do damage, is Radiance.
To run through the miners You blind people when you press F1, and you get light aura. That's actually not as good on a Firebrand as it is on a DH or a regular Guardian. In my opinion.
True, but you could always like pop in and out of Tome of Justice if you're killing lots of things.
It's still nice. It's just not as important, I think.
Yeah.
Playstyle defining. Renewed Justice gives you your tome back whenever you kill someone, and that is very nice.
So that works well with the first one.
And then lastly, you get 10% higher crit chance if someone's burning.
Exactly.
So, and you really want to be picking crit chance up here. So
yeah, and they pretty much always will be burning because of the passive from Tome of Justice, which is always on even if you're using it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's 10% critical chance increase. So that brings your total up from 31% with Fury to 41% crit chance. And then let's look right at the Grandmaster, which says Righteous Instincts. I've always wanted to use this.
This is a great trait. It's extremely strong. Retaliation increases your chance to crit strike, and it gives you might on interval. Really, what the main thing is that critical chance. 50%, baby. It's insane.
It's insane.
It's so huge. It
brings your total up to 91% crit chance.
That's nice. If they're burning, if you're running that specific Grandmaster in Firebrand, and if you've got the Fury on you from the Outros.
And if you have Retaliation, which you will have quite often, because number one, the adept trait in Radiance is I'm using Healer's Retribution on a 20-second cooldown.
Right, I like the synergy.
You get Retaliation off your heal skill, so there you go. If just by using your heal skill once, you get all these boons that I just showed you: Protection, Fury, Retaliation, some Aegis, and like 10 stacks of Might.
Yeah, I really like the theme here. I really like the theme. I like what you've done. I see what you mean when you said you're going all in on the heal skill. I see, yeah.
And then for the major trait, you got Retribution.
Okay. So Retaliation grants you increased damage and ferocity, which synergizes, obviously, if you're running Righteous Instincts. Then
exactly. 250 ferocity, which is huge, and also 10% damage increase on top of that.
Yep.
And then finally, and that's it. That's basically it. That's the build. All the mantras are pretty awesome. So you got Mantra of Lore for healing yourself if necessary. For removing conditions and giving yourself regeneration. It's a nice extra little thing. Mantra of Potence, which gives you quickness, which also plays into a lot of things here, and also an additional 5 stacks of might. So with this, and you're gaining might on retaliation and your runes, you should be running around with 20 to 25 might at all times. And I
like all these builds you're making at the moment that just self-sustain that.
Exactly. And you probably have around 70 to 80% uptime of quickness just by yourself. For like the first 40 seconds of the fight, you could give yourself 100% uptime of quickness by using the tomes as well. And then finally, the elite skill I'm using, Mantra of Liberation, for your stability and stun break, which also gives you retaliation if you need it, just to top yourself up.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
And my last utility skill is very up in the air. You can pretty much use whatever you want. I've been using Smite Condition in World vs. World and PvP because it's a little bit extra condition removal that you kind of need. And it does quite a lot of damage, actually. Another good option is a Contemplation of Purity, which removes all your conditions and turns them into boons. And with your high boon duration, it's very good. Another now very good option is Merciful Intervention, which now revives people 20%. It's just an overall ridiculous skill right now. And in World vs. World thing people always use is Stand Your Ground, which gives 5 stacks of stability to all your friends, and Retaliation as well. And that would let you if you use Stand Your Ground, you could change your elite skill if you wanted to like renewed focus or something like that.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the build.
Sorry, can you read me your 2 other mantras again, just for a second? You said Potence and what's the other one?
And Lore.
And Lore.
For
over.
condition removal and regeneration.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Wait. And what was the elite again?
The elite, I'm currently using Mantra of Liberation.
Okay. All right. Well, you didn't talk about that at all. Is there anything particular we want to talk about that?
Well, it's a stun break on a 12-second cooldown. which gives you stability, and also retaliation, which builds into the retaliation buff.
Yeah, the retaliation, and that's an AoE stun break too, so there's actually some really fun skill cap on that in terms of helping friends and sorting some stuff out. And for the PvP and World vs. World formats, which I think most of this video has been angled at.
It's also, this is a great build to run around just in PvE as well. Like, I wouldn't say it would be, it's not good for raids. I think it does like 12 to 15k DPS, which is not terrible, but it's not great. Well,
actually, I don't know, man. That seems pretty terrible these days. If it was about a year and a half ago.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's not terrible because it's also bringing so much support.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah,
it could. I mean, just by itself, it could do. If you just tweak it a tiny bit, you could do full quickness.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I wouldn't, like, if I wanted to do a full quickness Firebrand, I wouldn't run this build. I would run a Condi version, which would do a lot more DPS.
Yeah.
So you could run, if you wanted to, you could take Radiance off. Actually, you could just change the traits in Radiance from this to Amplified Wrath, Radiant Fire, and Right Hand Strength. Or not even Right Hand Strength. You could keep on, no, whatever. Right Hand Strength is good. If you just change those 3 things, you could then change your armor to like the Balthazar runes and maybe some Seraph's gear and some tanky dire gear or something, and you could run.
Go Condi.
You could just go straight Condi, and it's basically the same toughness, the same way to.
It has all the same components. I guess though, if you do, I think there are more changes in that though, because like then your symbols count in for less, and the rotation would change quite a lot. Your reliance on the F1 book, which comes up quite frequently. I guess again it depends on the game type. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would run that more in PvE if necessary. I just really like this. Like, I really like this reinforced glass kind of concept of being so tanky while still being... your health goes up and down quite a bit. It's kind of fun. That's it. That's my build.
Okay, so can I talk about why it's bad?
Sure, yeah, go.
Okay. What's the tune that you do? All right, okay, listen, I think this, it's cool. I really like the whole dropping all this stuff on heal thing. I really do. I think it's
forgot
awesome.
to tell you, it's axe, shield, and greatsword.
Okay. All right.
I also forgot to mention to Wooden Potatoes the food. There are several different food choices that activate on heal skill. For example, there is 3 might on heal with Marjorie's experimental chili or something like that. On a 20-second internal cooldown, but that might last for 20 seconds. So with 50% boon duration, that's 30 seconds. You get 4.5 might stacks off of that, essentially. There's also a Condi removal on heal. That's on a 10-second internal cooldown. That's also very strong. There's also a 200 extra power, I think, on heal, which is on a 20-second internal cooldown that lasts for 10 seconds. There are a few options there. I am splitting between the Condi removal and the might, depending on situations. They're both very fun.
Axe, really? Even though it's power?
Oh, Axe is very power. Axe is probably the most power damage of a one-handed weapon to multiple targets.
See, and now you're telling me it's pure melee as well. Here's what I think. I think this is bad because I don't think it does any one particular thing well enough.
Oh.
I really don't. I think it's. You're talking about being tanky. I don't think this is tanky at all. Like, how can this be tanky at all? Like, I mean, really, you say your health goes up and down. I think even the slightest bit of focus in either World vs. World or PvP, I think it's going to melt this build. I really think it's going to melt this build.
And also,
the coolest thing about this, okay, with the honor and dropping the symbol, I don't think that's viable, even remotely, and I hate using that word. I don't think that the Writ of Persistence is doing enough for you to take Protector's Impact as well. I think it's much more obvious to run something like... I mean, if you're going for the supporty angle, go like Invigorated Bulwark or something, and then Force of Will. I don't think the symbol down there really counts for that much. And that Benevolence is just so nice, because then it helps your, stuff like
Force
Pure
of
of
Will
Heart.
is definitely a good secondary choice for me.
And that also tackles your tankiness issue, where your vitality is just so low. It's just so low. Like, what's your health right now?
1,500 around?
1,500. Is that with Force of Will?
No.
Okay, well, that's a little bit higher than I thought it would be. But I still think that it's really going to get melted quite quickly.
Yeah. A Force of Will is definitely something you could take.
I
just wanted to say,
yeah,
it was a hard choice to go this route over Valor. Because Valor does give you some really interesting on-heal skill things too. On a 20-second cooldown, though, because you got the smite condition on heal, and you got the monk's focus, which does additional healing. But it would be a 20-second cooldown on your heal, so it would be every second heal cast. But it's good too. It just means that would be what you would have to do for the pure tanky version, because you won't get the crazy amount of damage that you get with the Radiance.
Yeah. So you just said there, crazy damage. Crazy damage.
Yeah.
I mean, you do on your own with the high might and stuff. I think that the damage is probably okay, but I just feel like you're in that weird part of the bell curve where it's like you can't really sustain under any kind of like focus fire, and you're probably not killing people fast enough. I don't know. That's how I feel looking at this on paper. I feel like there's just a lot of different choices that could just make a lot more sense. I mean, I really do question the precision. There was another thing as well that I was going to say about the Protector's impact. Mm-hmm. You've got so much protection on the build anyway. So much protection rolls out from like using the other stuff. That is the symbol really counting that much?
The tomes, you mean?
Yeah, the tomes can give you a lot of protection. You can run protection on your utilities. You even still have a free slot. One of the standard ones is Retown protection, right? That a lot of people use to juggle whatever it's called, righteous instincts.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's it's a nice bonus though. It's extra protection and extra healing and extra damage.
Yeah, so I mean, that's all I can really offer on this one. Speculations as to where I think it just doesn't do enough of any one thing.
Yeah. I get it.
And it will be interesting to look at the footage, as always.
The reason why I made this build the way I did was I could have done full bunker. Like, if I wanted to go full, just the healing skill, it could have just been full bunker. And it would have had to been full bunker because you wouldn't get any support from your Radiance stuff that gives you the ability to forego precision or whatever. And so that is a ridiculously strong build, but I guess this is what makes this a bad build.
Yeah, and that's what's a shame about it. These are the kind of videos I really like, because what you do is you show, hey, here's this really cool idea, right? And look, you can stack this and this. Look at all the synergies that are available. Synergies should equal good build, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm not convinced by this at all, because of the other choices that would be more obvious to make and stuff. So it's unfortunate. Also, yeah, the final touch. I'm not sure about the complete melee capability, but I guess you do get the splash on the F1, so I don't know. There you go. That's really all I got to say about why it's bad, and I hope people aren't too put off, because I think it would be a fun thing to. You said at the start that you thought this would get the mantra nerfed. Do you really believe that?
I think they're gonna have to change the mantra to not be an instacast.
Really? So what? You're thinking quarter of a second just so you can't use it while stunned and stuff? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. That might be reasonable. That's not too extreme.
Yeah. And yeah, but
I did have a question as well. This isn't about why it's bad, but I do have a question. How often do you find yourself using it? Okay, no, this is a bit of why it's bad. You've got this idealistic notion of, oh yeah, every time I get a new charge, I'm going to pop the next little bit of the heal and I'm going to get maximum efficiency out of all my... That's not how combat works.
Sure it is.
You're going to have your cooldowns ready and no reason to pop the heal skill whatsoever.
Or
you're going to have to spam the hell out of it because you just said your health yo-yos like mad. You need that heal when you need that heal. Not in these perfectly constructed little intervals.
You don't really.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. What was your last point? I was
just going to say, no, I completely agree with all your why it's bad things. I do think, though, that this build is super fun to play. And if you're getting tired of running a Condi Firebrand and you don't want to run just a full support that can't do any damage, this is definitely the way to go.
All right. Yeah.
It feels a lot more dynamic as a build than any other Firebrand build.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, as well, I think there could be a lot of good stuff on the horizon for Firebrand too when it comes to
it's so versatile,
raiding and things. Yeah, I mean, that Grandmaster Miner pretty much sums it up to me.
Yeah.
Imbued haste for Firebrand. It's like, here's 3 very distinct avenues you can take Firebrand. Have fun.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you very much, and I guess I'll see you...
Happy Winter's Day, Boots!
Happy Winter's Day to you. I will be taking a Winter's Day break, so I'll see you in the new year.
2018, I want to vomit. Why is time still moving?
Bye, everybody.